All right, I'd go ahead and like to call to order the special meeting of the City Council, June 1st, 2020 at 6:15. Roll call, please.
Goldern,
Here.
Bond,
Here.
Dillbeck,
Here.
Ahern,
Here.
Marshall,
Here.
White,
Here.
Morrill,
Here.
Wines,
Here.
Streller.
Here. I do declare a quorum. Councilman Ahern, would you give the invocation, please?
Most definitely. Let's all pray. Dear God, we seek your help with our business meeting tonight. We ask that you would bless this meeting with your presence and help us to make the best use of our time. We can sometimes have differing views and opinions. Help us to mend our differences and reach a satisfactory agreement to all of our agenda items. For that, we give you all the glory and praise. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Item number 1 is to conduct a public hearing on the FY 2020-21 budget. I would like to turn this over to Larry. Larry, you're the city manager, and this is your budget, so you can explain this to the council.
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, I think that Meredith is going to be handling this. Meredith?
Hi, Council. I've got you tonight. Russ is going to join you later for executive session, but Larry and I talked, and Larry asked me to walk through the first draft of this budget for you all. I think you all got it on Friday. I was up. Larry and I worked most of the day on Tuesday on it, getting some the final details all together. Went back and forth on a couple of little minor things, but I think we've got a budget that Larry is comfortable with and gives us a plan to go forward for the next 12 months with such economic uncertainty right now. Bottom line, we're worried about sales tax. We have been for a while. You all know this. As we're seeing what COVID has done to our economy, I gave you a little bit of background in the memo, starting out at the top, but kind of what's happened in Oklahoma City, what they're projecting, out of the New York Times, what everyone is seeing as far as concerns about depression level economy over the next 18 months. So we took a look at sales tax. Most of your, 15% of your sales tax comes from from full service restaurants, 11% from grocery stores, things that will be impacted by COVID. So as of right now, this budget proposes a 75% recurrence on sales tax. That means a haircut of 25%. All other taxes at 80%. We're thinking people aren't going to be driving as much, maybe not drinking as much, maybe not smoking as much. We'll see, right? But the idea being that we're not going to have as much money fluctuating through our running through our economy, and that fluctuation will result in a decline in sales tax. There are no revenue increases budgeted for our utilities. You all know that last year you passed the resolution to include a CIP every year based upon March's numbers. That CIP would have been 1.2% as of March. But because of the state of economy, what we're concerned about is unemployment. If people don't have jobs, they may not be able to pay their utility bill, taking on an additional increase in utilities. We didn't think that was prudent at this time. So there is no utility rate increase included in this budget. I would say that I would like to see council revisit that, and possibly in October if things start rebounding, or even as late as December for a January implementation. But as of right now, nothing's included in this budget. No change in employees as far as raises, retirement at the standard 8.8% match, 5% increase in health insurance. I think Dixie's got some numbers on that, but we should be able to cover the increase that we've seen through come with that budget. Capital outlay request, pretty big number. That's that dark chart in the center of your memo. $5.9 million requested. Then proposed funding, $1.2 million. Of that 1.2, that's what we're proposing for you all to fund this year in the budget. 915,000 of that would come from the Malls on Trust funds if we are approved. Obviously, there's no guarantee about that. And so those projects would only be completed if we received that funding. Just very clear about that. 199,000, almost 200,000 of it coming from an external source, either grant, bond, or our deal with the Ponca tribe. And then $117,000 city funded, just basically from our operations. That kind of one last thing. This budget does include $615,000 related to the dam project. Continuation of those expenses that we've incurred in the previous year, which we budgeted at $700,000. Legal easements, all of that's related to that dam project. So that's kind of the overview as far as what's included in the budget. So the numbers as they look right now, we have an operating loss. When I talk about an operating loss, I'm talking about the general fund, the utility authority, and the airport. Those main three authorities that we run our operations through. We're talking about we're projecting an operating loss of $927,000, just short of $1 million. When you take a look at that number, it should make your eyes get a little big. That is because we've got the $615,000 in the budget in our PMA related to the dam project. Okay, you take that out, we're looking at about a $300,000 loss, 312 and some change, which we hope that as sales tax comes back and as people are able to pay their utility bills and we're able to pass through that CIP rate increase, that we'll be able to recover in the next over the next 12 months. Not by December, but over the next 12 months. Our special revenue funds, our limited purpose tax, our street tax, our bond funds, those debt payments will be funded by the sales tax coming in. We're expecting a loss of about $286,000. That leaves the total loss for the city, all funds of the city, including the restricted funds, $1.2 million. That's kind of the overview. I'll open it up for questions or comments.
Meredith, one quick question. This is Derek. Can you hear me?
Kind of.
Is that better?
Yes.
I'll yell. The SIP you said was projected at 1.3 in March. Is that right?
The CIP. CIP is 1.2, I believe.
1.2? Okay.
What else?
Is there any further questions for Meredith? You wowed it. Any questions for Larry?
It's that negative number. She stunned us, not wowed us.
Thank you. Exactly. Exactly. It was like yeah. No, I mean, I'm not telling you it's pretty, but I think it's realistic. I think it's realistic, and it's something that we all want to be cognizant of. Whether we're going to be able to pull out of it in 3 months, 6 months, hopefully by the end of the year. But we've got to be able to live within our means right now. And this is a budget that continues to provide the same consistent services to our citizens. It continues to keep our workforce intact, paid, providing benefits. In all, it encompasses everything that you all as a council has wished for. So no, we're not going to be able to do all the projects, the $5 million worth of projects that were requested, but it does speak to our core values and ensure that we can keep our core values intact.
And council, you also have personnel authorization for fiscal year 2021. When it's fully staffed, it is lean. And if you'll notice on my memo, we're down about 26 spots. So we're even more lean or leaner, whatever the correct grammar might be. any further than that, our only option is to start reducing services. And as a full service city, even though we're 5,000 people, I think that's a great asset to be able to say is that we are a full service city. So if you have any questions on that personnel authorization, please let me know. Okay,
Any
Mayor.
more questions?
This is Kevin. I just want to say thank you all for putting this together. That can't have been an easy task with what we're facing now. And looking at all the request numbers and then the zero right next to it that we can give them is kind of disheartening, but I know y'all tried your best to do what you're doing, and I appreciate that work from y'all.
Thank you. I appreciate Meredith's and Russ's work as well. And also all the department directors. The first thing we do is start asking, what do you need to efficiently run your department? And this is at least the third year that I've been here that they've asked for things, and a lot of it that they feel that they really need, they're not getting. So Kevin, to your point, that is disheartening, certainly. But hope springs eternal, and we'll be ready for any kind of uptick in sales tax and our revenue. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, if there are, I'm going to close the public hearing and go on to item number 2, discuss the fiscal year 2021 budget amongst the council. Well, I would like to say that this is my 12th budget, I think. There's several more councilmen that's on the council with us. Derek, Brian, Mike, who else? We've been through this for some time, and I just want to say that this is probably the worst that I've seen it, and I wouldn't rather have anyone on my team than the Meachams. They watch our budget and take good care of it. And the whole time I've been with the city, I've not ever worried about any of their judgment. So, Meredith, you can pass that on to your team. I thank you.
Mayor. Thanks, Mayor.
Any more questions in the hearing or this meeting? If not, we can move to item 3. Am I still live? Okay. Okay. All my feedback went away. I don't know what you did, Tyson. We'll move to item number 3, adjournment then.
Motion to adjourn from Ahern.
Second, Martha.
Roll call, please.
Coldarn,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Thank you. The meeting is adjourned. Are you ready, Dixie?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Perry Municipal Authority for June 1st, the year 2020 at 6:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Coldarn,
Here.
Bond,
Here.
Dilbeck,
Here.
Ahern,
Here.
Marshall,
Here.
White,
Here.
Morrill,
Here.
Wines,
Here.
Stroller.
Here. I do declare a quorum this evening for the PMA meeting. The item number 1, the consent agenda. There's one item on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the one item on the consent agenda. Mr. Ahern.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Coldarn,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. We'll move on to item number 4, comments from those assembled pertaining to the items on the PMA agenda. We do have one special presentation this evening. We do have a gentleman from the Oklahoma Municipal Alliance with us. Tom Ryder is here to make a very special presentation. Just bear with us. Hang on a second. We got to get that raised up. Keep coming. There you go, right there. Oh, you.
Presented by the leadership of the Oklahoma Municipal Alliance. All right. So yeah.
Well, hang on a second. We'll just take a picture right now.
All right.
All right. We're good.
Thank you for letting me do this. I'm surprised. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Press release. All of you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, you go ahead. Go out that door. I may have locked it, but just unlock it. We'll lock it back. All right, authority members, thank you very much for allowing us to do that. That's a pretty special lady we got working for us. Congratulations.
Thank you. That means so much.
Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations, Dixie.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no one else assembled, we will move on to item 5, proclamation, accommodations, reports, inquiries by the governing body. Seeing none, any new business that needs to come before the PMA this evening?
Bill,
Yes.
I received a text that they could not hear what Dixie's award was. Can you repeat what that was that she received? It was too far away for some of the public to hear on whatever format they're listening to.
Okay, I could hear it in my headset, but I don't have that. Dixie, would you just read that to us, I guess?
Sure. The award is from the Oklahoma Municipal Alliance, and the title of it is the Drake Rice Customer Service Award, presented to Dixie Johnson for her commitment to the citizens of Perry, Oklahoma, with her positive attitude, commitment to personal service, and her strong voice for Perry's citizen-owned power system. Presented by the membership of the Oklahoma Municipal Alliance.
Thank you, Jamie, for bringing that to us. All right. Any other new business that needs to come forward this evening? Seeing none, we'll move to item 7, motion on the adjournment.
Motion to adjourn, Cold Iron.
Second, Dilbeck.
Roll call, please.
Cold Iron,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. Thank you, authority members. We will move into the call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Perry on June 1st, the year is 2020 at 6:36. Roll call, please.
Cold Iron,
Here.
Bond,
Here.
Dilbeck,
Here.
Ahern,
Here.
Marshall, White,
Here.
Morrell,
Here.
Wines,
Here.
Streller.
Here. Thank you, council members. Item number 1 is the consent agenda. There's several items on the consent agenda this evening.
Motion to approve all the items in the consent agenda. Ahern,
Second, Morrell.
Roll call, please.
Coldiron,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes, thank you. Item number 4, comments from those assembled pertaining to the items on the city agenda this evening. Seeing none and hearing none, we'll move to item 5, proclamations, commendations, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. Seeing none, I'll move to item 6, the city manager's report. Larry?
Thank you, Mayor. We are currently facing an onslaught of disposable gloves flowing into our wastewater treatment plant. These disposable gloves can create catastrophic problems within the system, increasing the potential risk for permanent damage to the plant. So we need the help of every water customer in Perry to throw the gloves in the trash. Please do not flush. Throw them in the trash. Please do not flush. This past weekend at BMAC, we had a very successful tournament. This is our 3rd scheduled tournament, but the only one that we have been able to hold due to COVID-19 restrictions. Saturday and Sunday, we had 31 teams showing up to play. As I mentioned, this was the first tournament that we've held this year, and Lee said there was no issues with facilities, and so that's always good. He said at championship time, when the championship game comes around, there's always some kind of issue, but it's more baseball related, not facility related. And this weekend, as busy as it was, this was a good practice run, if you will, for next weekend, which is the Brendon McLarty Memorial Foundation Tournament. They already have 30 plus teams with a waiting list for 2 of the age groups, which includes 1 team from West Texas that wants to come and play at BMAC. And I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of what all the folks that Lee has hired, the concession stands, the ticket takers, the cleanup folks, and of course, Lee and his leadership. Real pleased that he's on our team. Senior Citizen Center will be reopening tomorrow. And this first couple of weeks from June 2nd to June 14th, the center will be open only on Tuesdays and Thursdays. From June 15th to June 30th, we'll add Mondays and Fridays to that schedule. July 1st, the center will be open Monday through Friday. However, for the time being anyway, in the foreseeable future, there will be no potluck lunches. And I know Michelle McCrary is anxious to get her folks back and back into the center and enjoying each other's company as much as possible. There will be social distancing and all the CDC guidelines that pertain right now. She'll be following it. Today, Sonic broke ground on their new location at 8th and First, so that's been something that's been a long time coming. We appreciate the interest that the developer has had, and of course, I appreciate our team for getting this to the groundbreaking. We have also been in contact with the owner of the current location, and we'll be having a conversation with him shortly regarding what his plans are for the future at the current location. So the last thing we want is a boarded up Sonic. Lastly, Census 2020, as of last Friday, Perry is at 59.6%, Noble County at 55%. We still need to continue, council, to inform our residents of the benefits of participating in the census. In 2010, the biggest response we had was 62%. This is self-response rate. So we're getting close, but we would like to get a lot farther, a lot north of 62%. So Mayor, that's all I have. And council, you have any questions?
Larry, thank you for continuing to pursue the current Sonic owner. It's really important to us, and as we've talked about, that location for that not to be left abandoned. So thank you.
You bet. We have some property in Texas, and a couple of weeks weekends ago, we made a trip through south of Wichita Falls, which is a little town called Archer City, and they've had a Sonic that was a Sonic. It got boarded up, became a donut place. It got boarded up, became a Sonic again, became a donut place, and got boarded up. So I took some pictures and showed our building inspector and our code enforcement officer things that we do not want, and how bad that looks with a boarded up any kind of building, but especially Sonic. Sonics just look even worse than other places when they're boarded up. So we're going to really pursue that. So thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. Mayor?
Thank you, Larry. Any questions for the city manager? Seeing none, we'll move to item 7. Consider approval of application for payment request number 1 to CP Integrated Services Incorporated in the amount of $13,089.29 for Camp Tandaco trail projects. This is a payment request number 1, payment request for the work they've been doing at CC Lake.
I have a question for Larry. Larry, what have they done out there for that 13,000? I haven't been out there in a couple of weeks. I knew there was equipment there, but I haven't seen anything.
Part of that 13,000, like certainly I can, I'm on here. Part of that 13,000 was a deployment of their resources. Also, a good chunk of that, $6,100, was for new poly pipe. There are 3 sizes of poly pipe for drainage, and that was part of that 13,000 as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I haven't been back out there since that got burned. I participated in that. I don't know how long it's been, maybe 3 weeks ago or so. We burnt all the area and burned up all the old shrubbery, and hopefully a lot of the trees got burnt. Sure, it looks a whole lot nicer than it did. So what do you want to do with item 7, council?
Moral, motion to approve.
Second, Wines.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Coldarn,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes, thank you. Item 8, consider approval of change order number 1 in the amount of $21,922 to the citywide sanitary sewer phase 3 capital improvement contract with North Central Construction Company to increase the sod by 4,520 square yards, or in an alternative authorization to approval for another sod bid to be provided prior to or at the meeting. Do we have another bid?
Yes, this is Bryce. We have another bid from Action Turf and Landscaping for $13,017.60. That's $13,017.60, and that's both the cost of the sod and laying it. So that is the recommendation that we're making today, that we approve an agreement with Action Turf and Landscaping, the amount of $13,017.60.
This is Ahern. I'll make that motion to approve Action Turf.
Second, Marshall.
Any further discussion? We'll hurry before they change their mind. Roll call, please.
Coldarn,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes, thank you. Item 9, discuss the COVID-19 pandemic. Curtis called me or texted me. I think he texted me and was talking about, it was after our last council meeting, and said something to me about KFOR website said that we had 7 cases in Noble County. And so he said, I thought you said it was getting better. I said, I don't know. I'm just going by what, my emergency management people were telling me. So I called Russell, and Russell and I had this discussion, and it kind of frustrates me a little bit because the health department, I guess the way I understand it, once they put those numbers up, and we all know that originally we had 6 cases in Noble County, and 3 of them were in Perry, and 3 of them were out in the county somewhere. But what frustrates me is that they don't take those numbers down. Once those people have been released to go back into society, those numbers never come down. So then we had an additional case which pushed us to 7, which I think it misrepresents that to everybody. And I got a little frustrated with that. And Russell, I won't share his opinion. That's up to him to share his opinion. But it frustrated me that that they're not trying to make it sound better, and that's with every county in the state is going through that, and I'm assuming that everywhere around in the United States they're probably going through the same thing. And I think it's unfair that that's getting represented like that. But I wanted to bring that up this evening. If anyone else sees that or hears that from anyone, that at the last council meeting that there was 1 active case, and I'm assuming it's unfair to assume, but because I did not talk to Russell today, that case has probably been cleared too.
Hey, Bill, can I add something to that?
Yes, you can.
Some of the resources that you look at out there have started adding not only the total cases like you're talking about, but a recovered number.
Okay.
And just like you said, a couple of places I've seen it said we had 7 recovered at this point.
Okay. Thank you, Derek.
Mayor, if I may,
Yep.
like council's thoughts on resuming face-to-face meetings at municipal court, say around July 6th. We have, Tyson's been kind of moving things back and forth, especially on court days, which are normally the same days that we have council meeting. He's also got his equipment spread out all over the green room here at City Hall. I know he's been doing a great job. We appreciate that, but it's a burden on him. He won't tell you that, but I will. So if it's something that we can entertain, coming back and meeting together as a group on July 6th, or at least set some date in the very near future, so we don't drag this on. I know it's comfortable. Everybody likes to stay at home or at other places, and we understand that. But I think it's important that we be together as a group. So entertain your thoughts, please.
Well, I'll say that I think that even the numbers we have today, it's going to be a little tight to social distance in that chamber unless we come up with something different. But I understand not wanting to put a burden on anyone and trying to pick a date. I still feel like it's kind of one of those things where we just need to. I noticed they started phase 3 or getting ready to start phase 3, but we just need to keep following what's going on. And I know we've got a few people on council that if we were exposed, or not me necessarily, but if they were exposed, we sure wouldn't want that.
Well, I completely understand what Derek's saying, but I'm of the opposite opinion. I think that we hold baseball games at the BMAC field, and we all go to work. Most of us go to work. I've never missed a lick at work. And I know that they're saying probably I don't remember, it was 10 or less, and Derek's right, in council chambers, that may be really tight to do that. But at some point, we have to get back to work.
We are
And-
still social distancing and asked to social distance. So until that's relieved, I mean, I don't feel, if I am going to work, I'm going other places, I don't feel that comfortable sitting right next to Mike, especially since I'm putting Mike at risk along with others.
I'm in that same boat with Mike, but I'm not. I'll just tell you honestly, I'm pretty easygoing, and I'm more easygoing than I should be. So I don't really worry about that for myself much, just because I really don't honestly think about it most of the time until it like really hits home. But I do have the same concern when I like really look into it, and I'm like, well, yeah, how would we space everybody out like that? So I mean, I'm open either way.
Yeah, I think if it was just us, we could distance ourselves pretty easily. But when you start getting some of these topics where people are wanting to come talk to us, that's when it becomes more difficult. And like Jamie said, we are still suggested to social distance, and I know you see things from a different perspective than I do, Bill, because I have been at home this whole time. I work from home and everything else. So, and we're being told, as far as our department goes, we may be the rest of the year, as far as our company and department. So I mean, I see both sides. I feel like, other than maybe the burden on Tyson and a few people, that this has worked quite well too.
Any other council members?
I was just, I mean, I understand from the public, it would be nice for them to be able to also have more input than they are through this method. I'm just concerned about us all being in one room and being able to social distance still through this time.
Anyone else? Well, that being said, let's just let it roll through the rest of June, and we'll have another discussion at our next meeting and see if there's been any changes from the state's standpoint, if that's all right with everybody.
It's fine with me. Sounds good.
For me. I think that's fair.
Thank you for that discussion. We'll move on to item number 10. Consider approval of certain city contracts and resolutions for effectiveness condition upon the approval of the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget. Item A is to consider approval of tourism development contract with the Perry Chamber of Commerce. We've been supporting them for a number of years. The amounts have changed over the years, but this year the contribution that if the budget was approved as is, that we would support them at $20,000 for this year's contribution to the Chamber of Commerce.
And Bill, I believe if I read correctly, all these items in here are pretty much the same as they were last fiscal year, except for it looks like a little change with I think the museum it was, and paying
Correct.
monthly versus the total number, but it comes out to be about the same amount. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was just $1 or $2 actually, I think, Derek, when I added it all up. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are all pretty much exactly the same as they were last year. It just all depends on if the council is comfortable with spending the money, with our budget being as tight as it is. I mean, these are organizations that we have supported. There's nothing new. So we just need to approve these individually.
Has anybody heard anything on like the Cherokee Strip parade or anything like that on whether or not we'll be able to do it this year? Or?
You're muted, Larry.
There we go. Better?
Yep.
I spoke with Noah Black last week about their angst that they were having, trying to decide what to do as far as the celebration. And my recommendation was to go forward with it, with the caveat that if things turn south and we're under lockdown, that everything goes away and we'll cancel that. So that was my recommendation. I told her that that's what we've been doing with BMAC. We scheduled tournaments just like they were going to happen. And then we started canceling when that need was there and when that's what we needed to do. She said she would present that to her board coming up in the next couple of weeks, but they have not made a decision yet, Derek.
We have to do something, council.
Of the budget that we approved for this year, meaning that some things have been canceled, does that mean, I'm assuming that we already gave them the money. Does that mean that it's still sitting there since some of those events have been canceled? Or do we know what they've used those funds for this year as those have been canceled or moved out?
I do not, Larry. Do you have any information?
No, sir, I do not. I would assume that we're continuing to pay them monthly, just like we do Main Street, just like we do the museum as well.
It's unfortunate, a lot of times you have expenses prior to the event and then you cancel the event at the last second. Some of those expenses have already been expended.
And Will did say that they were getting a number of calls.
And Meredith, all these numbers were built in to the budget you shared, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'll make a motion to approve item A.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Calderon,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes, thank you. Item B, consider approval of service contract with Main Street of Perry Incorporated, which is the exact same thing we just had with the Chamber of Commerce. It's $20,000, and that's what we funded them last year.
Motion to approve the service contract with Main Street. Mrs. Ahern.
Second, Dilbeck.
Roll call, please.
Calderon,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes, thank you. Item C, consider approval of resolution number 2020-08 of the mayor and the city council of the city of Perry, Oklahoma, supporting participation in the FY 2020-2021 Main Street program, Oklahoma Main Street program.
Mrs. Ahern, I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2020-08.
Second, White.
Roll call, please.
Calderon,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. Item D, consider approval of contract services with David Payne as a consultant to the Perry Planning Commission.
I'll make a motion. I think it's money well spent, but the contract with David Payne.
Second, Dilbeck.
Roll call, please.
Calderon,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. Item E, consider approval of a contract services with the Perry Senior Citizens Incorporated. And if I remember right, I guess it says it here, we pay the utility bills there at the city, at the Senior Citizen Building.
Motion to approve, Morrell.
Second, White.
Roll call, please.
Holdern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes, thank you. Item F, consider approval of agreement with Northern Oklahoma Development Authority doing business as Cherokee Strip Transit.
This is Kevin. I have a question. Who do they provide transportation for?
It's to my understanding, I've never used them, but they'll provide transportation to anyone that calls them.
Up until,
Because a couple months ago, yeah, I heard some people complain that they called to get help getting to the food pantry, and they were told that since they're not senior citizens, they can't get a ride.
Just a second. So they did change things? Okay. Tyson is telling me that they did change just during this pandemic to senior citizens only. But now they're either have or headed back the other way very shortly.
So the expectation is going to be when this clears over, they start doing full service again.
Full service, yes. That's what Tyson just told me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, for bringing that up. I was not aware of that.
I believe that runs till 5 in the afternoon. Is that correct?
I don't know. Tyson says that's when they park their vehicles.
Okay.
Tyson hangs out in the parking lot, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's move on. Item F, please.
I'll make a motion. This is Ahern to approve the contract with the Northern Oklahoma Development Authority.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Holdern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes, thank you. Item G, consider approval of contract services and lease agreement with the We Heart Nutrition Program Incorporated. Says that we provide them with a building and $375 a month credit towards utility bills. That is a great program for our senior citizens here in Perry.
Motion to approve, White.
Second, Bond.
Roll call, please.
Holdern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes, thank you. Just a second. Item H, consider approval of contract for services with the Cherokee Strip Museum for tourism development purposes. If I remember right, the contract last year was $10,000. I was just running my calculator real quick because I thought it was just a dollar short. It's actually 4 cents short of that. At $833.33 a month, comes out to $9,999.96.
This is Bond. Motion to approve item H.
Can I ask a question? Is that allowed?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible that we can get an update from all of these different agencies that are in group number 10? I agree that we have to fund all of them. We want to. It brings people into our community. We talked about that at great length last year. But knowing where our budgets are going to be this coming year, I feel like we really need to know, with so many things getting canceled this year, where are they sitting? What happened to the budget? I mean, I feel like we owe that to the citizens as we're looking at our budgets and making sure if we need to make hard decisions, we know what that money went to this year.
Sure, it's a good idea, Jamie. I know that the Chamber and Main Street already give us updates regularly, but we could probably request some updates from these other organizations also.
And I think along the lines of what she asked, I was just thinking maybe we could, I think Meredith was shaking her head that all these are paid out monthly, even though there's totals. We could even consider if some of these events don't happen and things like that, and our budget doesn't come back like we're looking at, maybe we come back later and determine whether we can continue those due to what's going on.
Okay, we have a motion in place on item H. We need a second.
Sorry, I'll second Wines.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Roll call, please.
Coldarn,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you, council. Item 11, consider approval of the 8th option to the municipal solid waste collections and disposal contract with Davis Sanitation Incorporated. I'm actually going to send this one. We haven't heard from him, but well, he did speak a while ago, but to Bryce. Bryce seems to be the expert on this contract for years.
Well, we have, and I think we have Jimmy Davis here ready to
Yes.
answer questions. We have 3 remaining options, and we're suggesting that we exercise one of them, gives us 2 remaining options. As the agenda item sets out, the contract provides that each time we exercise the option that as a matter of contract, Jimmy can raise the price 2%. And he did raise it last year, but then he didn't raise it for 2 years prior to that time. And I spoke to Jimmy this year and asked him if he would consider not raising it because of all of the budget problems that we have, and he agreed. 8 years ago we went out to bid, and we once again chose Davis Sanitation. One of the real interesting things about Perry, as you may know, is that we have this convenience center that he operates, and that we also have limbs that he will come and pick up, not necessarily cut into short lengths and tied with string, but a part of this contract is that he comes and picks up limbs that have been dragged out to the corner. And I believe Larry told me that he did that this weekend. And every time we have tried to bid this contract out, we have found that nobody wants to provide the special services that Perry insists on, and that the public, the Perry community, insists on. So we once again are recommending a renewal of the agreement with Davis. Exercise this option would allow 2 more options to exist, and you could take each year. You can take whatever action you want, but if you decide to bid it out, then the options disappear. So that's kind of how it works. Any questions?
I personally want to thank Jim for everything he does. I know that it's probably been more troubling for him through this too, and more trash with everybody there. So I certainly appreciate all your work and keeping everything picked up.
I don't know that anyone's on the council now that went through that last bid process, other than myself. It was an outfit out of Stillwater. Bryce, do you remember what their name was? I don't know.
It's the current outfit that's
Allied?
out there now. Allied. We did leave Davis one time, and we went with Henry Wells. That's when Henry Wells owned the landfill out at Stillwater. And during that time, we got pretty good service. Just as soon as Henry sold it, the service became bad again, and we went right back to Davis Sanitation. And that's been the way it's been for 34 years that I've been there. Davis has done it and has always, him and his fathers have always, stayed up on it.
All I asked was the name.
Allied, I believe. Yeah.
All right,
Before it
but right, is that those people came in here and made us a sales pitch. They wanted to put poly carts on the street. They wanted to bring their automatic trucks in, pick them up, dump the poly carts back in the street. The convenience center that we got out here that Jim and his family, his company runs for us, that thing is busy all the time. I mean, it's a huge contribution to our community. That other company said that was the dumbest thing we've ever done. That we'll cut that deal. It's out. And myself and Danette's husband just about escorted the guy out of the room. Brad and I were fit to be tied that night. And so my point is that there's always problems with the trash trucks and the services, but I've never one time called Jim Davis that he has not answered his phone. Him and I over the years have had many conversations, and he's always answered the phone every time I've called him. And he's always addressed the situation immediately. And I can't say enough about that. I know he's a busy guy. He farms. He has a trash service. He's just super busy. He's always taking my phone call, and I appreciate that, Jimmy. And I just think that everything he does for our community over all the years is outstanding.
Mayor, this is Brian, and I would agree with that. Thank you, Jim. I'm going to go ahead and make the motion to approve the 8th option with the disposal contract with Davis Sanitation. And thank you, Jim, to all your staff. I think you do a great job.
I agree. Second, Wines.
Roll call, please.
Kildare,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dillbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Driller.
Most definitely. Thank you, Jimmy. Item 12, renewal of contract with Hatch Services for the calibration of lab instruments at the water plant.
I think Jim was going
You guys for
I'm
everything.
sorry.
I'm learning how to run this, but I just wanted to thank council and everyone and thank you for the recognition for our hard work. And our men, we really appreciate everything that the city does for us as well. So we're here to do what needs to be done. And y'all have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Derek. I couldn't see him, so I didn't know he was trying to talk.
You were reading.
Item 12, the renewal of the contract with the Hatch Services.
Motion to approve, White.
Second,
Se-
Ahern.
Roll call, please.
Kildare,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dillbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. Item 13, consider approval of agreement of the with whatever that means, Bryce. The Brendon McLarty Memorial Foundation for the lease of the Perry BMAC baseball complex on June 6th and 7th, 2020 for the Brendon McLarty Memorial Tournament and the payment of the concession stand fees.
Motion to approve.
Second, White.
Roll call, please.
Kildare,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dillbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. Thank you, council. Item 14, new business. Is there any new business that needs to come before the council this evening? Seeing none, we will move on to item 15, which is to convene an executive session. But before we do that, anyone that is on with us now that is not a part of the council, I do want to say when we come out of executive session, we do have another item. So we will take a recess of 5 minutes when we come back out of executive session. We don't have any way to notify you of that. So if you would just keep looking and pay attention, and hopefully you can catch us. Correct, Tyson? You said yes. So at this time, we are going to go into executive session. Let me read it into order, please. Item 15, consider convening an executive session to 1, discuss the appraisal of interest and purchase of certain interest of real property, permanent and temporary flowage easement related to the Upper Black Bear watershed project pursuant to Title 25, Section 307B3 of the Oklahoma statutes as amended. And number 2, convene into executive session to discuss the negotiations of the fire and police collective bargaining units pursuant to 25 OS 307B2 of the Oklahoma statutes as amended. Motion on the executive session, please, council.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Haldern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. We are now in executive session.
Okay, so do we know all the motions that we need to make when we come out of this?
It's just the fire contract and the police contract. That's it.
And
Okay.
police on receipt of signed
Yep.
contract.
Want to make sure we know what we're doing.
And now just remember, council, there will be a 5-minute recess when we come out of this. We're out? We're out. So everybody chill. Item 16, reconvening the regular session. Do we do that now? Bryce?
Well, we're going to give it 5 minutes, right?
But we need to reconvene in the regular
Oh,
session.
yeah.
And then we'll wait.
We'll wait. Absolutely.
All right. Motion on 16, please.
Motion to reconvene into regular session. Ahern.
Second, Wines.
Roll call, please.
Haldern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrill,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. My stopwatch is. 17, take any action with respect to executive session, including giving directions on purchasing of interest in real property and approval of the IAFF FY 2020-2021 collection bargaining agreement with the firefighters and the approval of the local 137 FY 2020-2021 collective bargaining agreement with the police lodge. Council,
Motion to approve the Perry Professional Firefighters Agreement.
Second, Wines.
roll call, please.
Kildern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Gilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Anything else, council?
Motion to approve the contract with the Perry Fraternal Order of Police upon receipt of the signed contract.
Wines. Second.
Roll call, please.
Kildern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Gilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Sorry. Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Item 18, pardon me. Review bids on the actuator and valve replacement project at the Perry Water Treatment Plant. Receive canvas of bids. Receive recommendation of Cowan Engineering Group. Award bid to the lowest responsible bidder on the projects in the amount of the lowest responsible bid. In the event the lowest bidder does not receive the award, detail the reasons for choosing another other than the lowest bidder. Authorize the mayor to execute the notice of award of a bid, and upon receipt, review and approved by the city attorney of bonds, insurance, contract, power of attorney to execute the public construction contract, and authorize funding source. Sir Kennedy.
Okay, we received 4 bids as the agenda set out, and they were broad. They were all over the board, from 259 to 476, hundreds of thousands of dollars apart. Cowan did look at it, and the low bidder was J.S. Herring Company. They made a recommendation to award it to the low bidder. Young Construction has done work for us. They're $5,000, $6,000 higher. They have done work for us. And Parrish Electric was one of their subs on their contract. Initially, when I talked to Jeff Cowan about J.C. Herron, he was saying, "Oh man, they love to change order contracts up." It's just what he said he saw. But when I got the recommendation from Mike Taylor, who's his right-hand man on this, he said he could find no reason not to grant it to the low bidder. And that's really what this competitive bid process is all about. And if you can't really find a real reason, I suppose if you wanted to find a real reason, you could say Young Contracting. We've used them before, and we have a local electrician, Parrish, who's on it and is going to is going to be the guy that's going to have to maintain it over the years. So maybe that's a better deal. But right now, administrative recommendation is a low bid, J.C. Herron Company. I just wanted to give you all of all that information.
I don't remember from looking at the contracts. Was JC? Do we have any good references from Aaron or JC?
Yeah, that's what Cowan did. He went through the references. He found good. He made some of those calls, and he said that they squared up. And of course, Jeff Cowan knew him. Now, the one thing that I did get them to do, you remember, that we didn't use an engineer to put these together. We used somebody who has put these together. helped us with the specifications and is put a pair of these in, and he teamed up with Wind Construction, but clearly they were $150,000 high. So it would be hard to grant it to them. And you also got to remember we get a performance bond and a maintenance bond on this. So even if they screw it up, we've got the amount of money again to go back and fix it. But initially they had said J.C. Heron, may change order this. In talking to Mike Taylor, we are going to have Cowan dog this. Cowan is going to see that, he's the one that's going to have the meetings on this. We're going to have him spend some of his time on this project to ensure this comes off flawlessly. And they did make that recommendation that it go to the low bidder.
Well, in my career on this council, they all change order you to death. And it kind of scares me to use the J.S. Heron if he has a reputation of doing that. So it could even be worse. But what is there's a certain percentage though, right, Bryce? What is it, 10% or something? What's the limit on a change orders?
Yeah, it's 10% if it's over if it's over $1 million, 15 if it's under. But it's a maximum of $150,000. You can't make a bad decision of either Young or J.S. Heron. If you made a decision for Young, you would say that we have experience with them in the past. They have done a water project for us. They have done a sewer project for us. They have a local electrician who we have confidence in. Remember, anytime and for those, and the fact that it's just $5,000 more would make us say that the Young contractor is a better bid. Or give it to the lowest and best. But if you did the other one, you would have to include those reasons in your motion. Dixie, did you have some opinion on this?
Well, in talking to the people I talked to, the person that helped us put that bid together and others, I did believe that Young was probably the better choice.
I really like the idea of getting Randy Parrish involved, because if he's going to do all the electrical work and wire this thing up, and we need something in a spur of the moment, he's going to come help us. And not saying he wouldn't help us if we didn't use him, but he's a whole lot more likely to jump in there and help us if he was involved in the original contract of the situation. And he is from a contractor from Perry.
Now you can always get, the rule is once you make the award, anybody that feels that they're aggrieved have up to 10 days to appeal. That's why it's important to state the reasons in the motion why you're making the decision that you're making. It's very small difference. Prior experience, good experience with Young Contracting. And third of all, the subcontractor who we're gonna have to deal with again, Parish Construction. We like the sub. We have also, if you want to add it, we have also heard, at least from our engineer, some negative about the low bidder. I would include all of that if you wanted to go with Young. Russ, do you have an opinion?
Just the bids are close enough. To the extent we can use the local contractors, I've always tried to steer that way whenever we can do it. But again, it's up to you all from that standpoint.
Council, you need to weigh in.
think we often say buy local when you can, and it seems like one of those times where we can do that.
I agree.
I think we should go local too.
Well, a motion to select Young Contracting and detail out the reasons that I have already given that that Dixie can put into the minutes would be appropriate.
Hey, Bryce, I mean, I know we've got the issue of choosing Young because of the local contractor. I mean, we also, you said, mentioned some, how would you phrase it? Some negativity, maybe from some.
We have used him twice before. He's done a
Okay.
good job, so we have experience with Young Contracting. He has a local subcontractor that we have great confidence in. The difference is just, like $5,000. And there have been our engineer, the named engineer warned us with respect to Heron, stating that he believed that Heron reputation is change ordering contracts to death, and we want to ensure that that doesn't occur.
Okay, thank you.
As soon as someone makes a motion, we go home.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve this contract with Young Contracting. They were not the lowest bidder, but for the following reasons, we make the motion to select them. First and foremost, there's a minimal difference in the two contracts between Young and J.C. Heron Company. The city has had some previous experience with Young Contracting, and we've been very pleased with that. The third reason is that the Cowan Engineering Group gave some recommendation to us that the J.C. Heron Company has had some history of numerous and frequent change orders in the work process. And last but not least, we think it's important to choose a local subcontractor that we have history with, the Parish Electric. And we want to try to keep this as local as we possibly can in this environment.
And in addition, the funding will come from the McMurtry sales tax, correct, Russ?
Correct.
And so you want to add that to your motion?
Add that to the motion, yes.
This is Bond, I'll second.
Any further discussion on item 18? Roll call, please, Dixie.
Holdern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dillbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall. White,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. Thank you, council. That's a very, very important item number. Okay, item 19, motion on the adjournment.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn, Marshall. Second, Wines.
Roll call, please.
Holdern,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dillbeck,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Streller.
Yes. Thank you, council.